All right, good morning, everybody. Hello. Good morning. Good morning. Welcome back to Florida.
When?
Yeah, yeah, right. How old is Andy?
Andy's 23.
23. Okay, so this week was something special because Maria's 21st anniversary was this week. 21 years here.
Yeah.
21 years anniversary. So Andy was 2, and Andy's 1-year anniversary is today too. So special week.
He wasn't even born here when I started.
What's that?
I mean, he wasn't even born when I started.
He wasn't born, right? Yeah, he wasn't.
Why do you say things like that?
Pretty big deal. All right, there are a lot of milestones going on. Today, this is a huge milestone for us, or this week anyway. We're doing some things to strengthen the business, to make changes to give guests a better experience. We've been doing good, but now we got to kind of shift things to have them be great. This year was a good, okay year. You know, you look at some days and some months, and it's been up and down a little bit. It hasn't been growing the way we have in the past. I know that's so for a lot of places, a lot of businesses, but we have to make a shift for our business to make the changes so that we elevate the guest experience for their value.
Hello.
Good morning.
Hi.
Good morning. So a couple of changes. Well, we've been talking about these for a while. The reason we're doing it a little bit differently, because probably one of the biggest comments, feedback, complaints that I've heard going around and having these conversations with everyone is that there's not a great level of communication about when changes are made. So that's been a missing, and we hear about it. Like sometimes you find out things from a newsletter that a guest got that we're doing that you didn't know we were doing. That's happened before, right? Like, what is that thing called that we're supposed to be offering you for free, or what are we doing? So we're taking our time with this, and this has started a while back. When we started the whole color measuring system, which was a major shift and a big interruption and change in how you've done it for many, many years. But color has also changed, and the way hair color is done, and the amount of color that's used, and the color services are different. It's not just a straight retouch anymore like it was. There's many of those, but the color usage has changed. So we've been investigating that. Obviously, we've been getting the results from the measuring system and looking at that, and we're making some changes to fix and right the ship with regard to that, because this year especially, it's caught up to us. We had those 5 price increases of hair color, and we didn't pass any of those increases on. So we ate those, and this year it hurt because we didn't have the growth. We needed to grow about 9% to cover that, and we did not. Good morning. Good morning.
I didn't know what you made.
So anyway, we're fixing that. I mean, so what's going to happen next week is that the prices are going to be adjusted a little bit. There's going to be a message that goes out to all the guests that says this is the changes that we're making. This is why we're making them, and so they will be notified in advance. And then the other changes are that if more color is used, they'll be charged for it. So a way to communicate that effectively to people so they understand what it is and how we're doing it. So it actually makes it more fair for people. And we've seen things to help simplify or make things easier too. You had so many services in there before, and which service do I add? Which service do I use? A half wasn't called a half, and now a highlight face framer wasn't called a face framer. It was called a glow frame. What the hell's a glow frame? Simplifying the system so it makes it easier for you to create and not have to spend all this time trying to figure out what I call it. How do I get creative? Where do I put this service? So you'll see some of those changes being made in the system. And if there's still more to be made, we'll continue to make those changes. But the feedback that we're getting, like a level of communication that everybody understands, everybody's on the same page, we're all talking the same language, just makes it easier for everyone and no surprises for people. So that'll start next week. I think you started here this week just recording what the overages are up front, right? Mm-hmm. So you can see what those numbers are, and when there's an over, there will be one master sheet that has the allowances on it, and the allowances are so our pricing will be and up. So root retouch is this price and up. So if there's more color needed, that it's communicated up front that, I need another ounce or whatever it is. And they're in increments of $5. So 5, 10, 15. So the average has been, in the last 2 weeks that I've looked, $5 to $10 in additional color. It hasn't been a lot of them, but there have been some. And then there's been some that have been, $25 because there were multiple bowls used, and it was a more intricate color. So have you seen those? Have you been looked at those numbers? Have they seen what
I'm
these
sorry,
are?
I don't know, because I haven't been here.
You have not been here. Okay. So we'll be doing that again this week too, so you'll be able to see what the differences are and how that is. But there will also be a standard sheet so that you just know what the ratio is. And if I have to go over that, it's fine. It's going to be whatever, $5, $10, $15, whatever those numbers are. But
And
over.
I do have them, so we can look at them today, and then we'll continue.
Yeah, I don't have a printed copy here, but we'll print many copies of that so everybody has that. So we'll do some role playing to practice how that's said. You may already have a way to say it and say it your way, that's fine, but you want to be prepared so when they do come in and say, well, what is this and how does it affect me? How you say it in your way. The biggest thing is it ensures fairness, it adds precision. They're going to know that their mix is the right way every single time, even if it goes to 3 different stylists, that there's precision to it. We've updated our pricing to reflect true product usage, so you're only paying for exactly what's used for your hair, no more, no less. It's fair, accurate, and customized. But okay, so the price changes and adjustments are just one piece of the shift. So over this next year, in how we serve, how we grow, and how we stay consistent. This week, I don't know if any of you look on Slack, but every week, at the beginning of every week, Brenda posts a little memo in there, or a little saying, or a little motivational, or something to kind of wake you up. Has anybody ever seen those before in announcements that she does every Monday? Well, this past Monday, Brenda was sick and she didn't post one. And that messed me up because I was like, Brenda, what happened? That's my week.
Oh my God, that's been receiving.
Yeah. She's so consistent, so reliable, and I just have come to rely on this. Sets the tone for the week for me.
It was nice somebody noticed. I don't think anybody even reads this.
No, we do. I read.
Yeah. So, but it's consistent. She's consistent with it. And nobody's ever asked her to do that. She just has done that just to share something kind for people. It's just been something that she's always done. I rely on that. There's a consistency in that. So we were talking about at the Village on Tuesday, the people that weren't there. So the video that they rewatch or watch, the people who missed this, that weren't there, if they don't get on the same page with this, it's going to be weird because they're going to be having a different conversation than you're going to be having. So what we're talking about with this whole communication thing is everybody being on the same page and there being consistency. So there are 3 prongs to this program that we're going to be doing. You'll notice we're going to meet next week and the week after for the next several weeks, and to continue this conversation, to get feedback, see what's working, what's not working, and to make sure that everybody has their favorites of offerings. So there's 3 prongs to it, and we look over the course of the year, and I've shared this before, we had 22,000 guest appointments last year. I talked about if we only had 1/3 of those guests who got one of these offerings, these new services that we're providing for people, if only 1/3 of them got that, it would make the difference and make up for the loss that we had this year. That's 1/3 of those guests. We want to be able to refresh the salons. We want to be able to upgrade the look. We want to get new magazines. We want to get new tape. It needs it. We'll be able to do those things if these things happen. It also will enhance the guest experience. When we did 500 of those frizz-free giveaways in August, 500 people took advantage of that. There's a percentage of those people who love that. It's something they never had. Some people didn't want it, some people didn't like it, that's fine. But the ones who did get it, it made a difference for them. So it enhanced their experience. It gave them something more to talk about. It was something new and something fresh. So that's what we'll be creating, is this upgrade menu. Chris talked about it, but will we have a menu? Yeah, we'll have a nice menu for it. You'll have, be able to talk about what's on the menu. To give them something else besides just same old, to give them more, to give them a better experience for very little. You'll notice even the frizz-free service went from $35 to $15. We don't need to put 15 minutes on the appointment book. We could do it at the back bar with an associate. So the price came down on that. So doing some, Marina's researching some in-salon enhancement upgrades like the little eye patches with the collagen eye patches from the professional version.
And they have good ones, which are great, especially for the clients you don't want to bump. Here, put this on. But then they have other little things, like we were looking into little SPF travel things, like what, little lip glosses, like they have plumpers. All women love plumpers. So like little things like that that we can also add as just retail,
Upgrade the experience. So, we can do that with the current guests that we have without trying to get a bunch more people, because it's harder and harder to get new business in the door. And we haven't had that this year. So if we excite what we already have and give them a better experience, they'll talk more. They've got more to take with them. And it's not just the same old, same old. So if we take that same 22,000 appointments, and if we're only going to do that same 22,000 this coming year, and they pre-book their next appointment. So right now, 65% of those guests pre-book their next appointment. If we move that from 65 to 75, just that 10% is 2,300 more appointments for the year. That's 2,300 fewer guests we need, new guests that we need. We're having the guests that we currently come at least one more visit per year. So by changing that number from 65 to 75, it dramatically increases the amount of business. It's a simple little thing. And I noticed, just this last month, the conversations have been enhanced. We've had more conversations about it because now there's an offering for people. Hey, might as well, you get put into a drawing for the $200. The other thing that's altered, and I've heard it in conversation, is how we present the conversation to people. So adjusting how pre-books are presented to people or how rebooking is presented to people makes a huge difference. I listened to all 20 conversations on Tuesday. There were 20 guests in there, and I listened to every conversation from that little office there, every conversation that was had. And the people that were asked, do you want to book your next appointment? All said no. The ones that were presented with it this way, so instead of, do you want to, because here's the thing, nobody wants to book their next appointment. No, people don't have the time to think. Once the cape comes off, they are off to their next event. They don't have the time to process what I'm doing in 6 weeks because it's around Thanksgiving and it's a big deal. And we prod and pry, hey, it's Thanksgiving, you better get it in, we're getting busier. When it's presented in a whole different way, and this was the end of the conversation, do you want to book your next appointment, that Hannah says she would like to see you in 6 weeks for that haircut again. That puts us at Tuesday, the 27th at 4 p.m. Does the afternoon work for you? That worked 85% of the time versus do you want to book your next month? It takes all their thinking out of the way. They don't have to think, oh, what am I doing? Oh, well, let me just make this the first thing that I'm doing and I'll have my life around that. It altered it so much so that they had like 90% of the guests that day rebook. So it sounds like a simple thing, but it really matters. Now, here's one piece that was missing. So we had the same conversation in the morning, and then there were two stylists there that I asked, like, listen, will you make sure that you inform the front desk about when you want to see them again? And I watched 4 of their guests go to the front and not have a clue about what was going on in the next 6 weeks because the person ran to the back room and didn't follow through. So that really makes a difference because then they have to chase the person down.
So to align with that, can we get tickets again where we can see the last time they were in, the last products they bought?
That's so good.
We can have the conversation with them about that at the chair. Because without that tool, I don't know, are you a 4-week, are you a 5-week? I haven't a clue, so I don't even know what to tell them.
Yeah, that's a brilliant thing. And we actually have been investigating that because I think that would make a huge difference.
Go in and have that research already done, because then you have to stay 5 minutes up there with them.
You got to look it up.
Yeah. And during the season, we are so busy.
Yeah. So I think it was Becca that looked into that, right? To see. So right now, at the moment, there isn't, but you're absolutely right. That would be brilliant because you'd have everything right in front of you. Their whole history, what products they used, when the last time they were here.
No, because it's too hard to find it, and even in the app, like you have to scroll all over the place and dig around, and it's just not workflowy.
Yeah, absolutely.
We put in like a work order for it, like That's what we want them to work on.
Well, we got to find a workaround around that because that is critical. I think that's so important.
Amazing for that. Like,
Yeah.
it was so good.
That's a real missing. I think they've got so digital, they over-digitalized, and even
Yeah, like-
it's too much, and you need paper for that, yeah.
Day runners were amazing. Like, it
Yeah.
was.
Now, the one thing about it is it has what's called an API in the system. API allows other programs to get the data out. So there may be a way where we can pull data out of there and run a report on our own. That's one workaround, because I don't put a lot of hope in the fact that they're going to put it on their list and get it done anytime soon. Because that's just come up several times. That, boy, that would really be great if we had
Because
something
right
they
now,
could
when
travel
we're
with
not
them.
busy, it's not that big of a deal, but soon it's not going to happen. Like, there's.
Yeah. So that would be one of the things that would make a difference. I'm clear about that.
Right.
In the
Plus your associate, great.
But they're working with 2 or 3 people too, so
Right.
they're going to be sitting at the bowls all day long, not being able to do anything else. Like, we don't have enough of them.
Yeah, what it'll do now is just give you the list. It won't give you the detail.
Right,
I mean,
gives
you
you
print the
daily
print the list, but it won't give you all that data. In the meantime, on a day like today, you can practice with the associate and the stylist looking through and pulling that information out, print maybe on the day runner, a couple of notes about them, which it will allow us to do.
I mean, a lot of times I'll even go up and just book the next one myself so that I know it gets done right.
Yeah, and you're consistently kind of in the 90s, so this is like not necessarily your conversation because you're already there. But it's for everyone as a whole, like in coaching others, like how do you get to the 90s? Like what you just said, well, I just do it already anyway. I might already have it in there before they get here, or whatever your
Honestly,
technique
even in
is.
season, like you can tell, you guys always bring up your client, even in season. I know when you're super busy, you still always make the time to bring them up. And that makes a huge difference,
Yeah. And that might be something in the beginning of the day that already, like your associate says, hey, this is my timeline for these 6 people. I want to see her in 6 weeks, 4 weeks, 3 weeks, if you know that in advance, because you're already thinking like that anyway. But that becoming a habit, because there are people who are consistently in the 40s who don't do that, who don't even have that habit, who are not busy enough to be are not busy enough to have that reason to not do it. There's plenty of, opportunity to have that be better. So that small little shift, now you helped that, those of you in the 70s and 80s already helped that go from 65 to 70. You're already pulling it up. But we do have a lot of people who are lower than that. So that's the second tier, a piece of it. The third tier is only about 7% of our guests have a take-home product. Everybody buys shampoo. So this isn't about selling. This is about offering. A big difference between selling and offering. So they can't buy something they don't know is for sale as an offer. So offering versus selling is a big difference. One of the things that we practiced as an experiment was if everybody got an offering of a take-home product, how many would take advantage of the offering? And the guesses were all over the place, but when we actually did it and that every guess was offered, at least 30% or 3 out of 10, because they just had an offering. An offering just like dessert, no different than at Fleming's when the dessert gets offered. It's an offering, it's something you could say no to, But knowing what's on the menu is part of it. And I think Chris, you brought up a great point, was, will we have a menu for like the offerings of the add-ons or the upgrades? Absolutely, yeah, that's perfect, because it lets people satiate in it. They get to cook with that, to have that in front of them. This is what's possible. This is what I can get. So, that's part of the offering. It's one more piece, so that if it's being offered there, and then it's being discussed at the shampoo bowl, and it's being discussed up front, so that everybody's on the same page about what the enhancements or offerings are. And then the other piece to that is always something we've never had before, because it's always been kind of last minute, is a 12-month forecast or menu of knowing what's coming as far as what our offerings are going to be, or what our promotions are going to be. So, coming to a consensus on, okay, this month is a great month to do, something for hair repair in the sun. This month, coming up with whatever we collectively agree on for the 12-month menu, and then having that offering be something that's a special that you can offer to them as a deal. Just no different than when we did the Frizz Free. Hey, we've got this new thing and it's only this much. And I think it'd be really great for your hair. And it makes it easy to have that offering, and it gives them a little bit of a taste of it. Or, if the Frizz Free, if you loved it, we have a thing right now where you buy one, get one free, which is great because then they use this one and then they get to pre-book for the next one. So all of these things, if you look at just those 22,000 appointments, and we went from 7% of the guests that are buying that have take home, 7% which is where we're at now, which is a really small number, and just 20% of the guests had a take home product. Like the difference it would make would be remarkable to the business, but not only to the business, to the guests, because we know that a guest who has take home, a guest who spends more, stays more. They're more invested in the business. We just know, like that's a statistic. If they are spending more here, well, a lot of things. They're spending more here. They tip more. I asked Eliza at the Promenade about. She's a server on her days off, and one of the things that's so critical to her was she's a server at Oak and Stone, and she said, I always want to ask for what they want for dessert because it ups the bill and it makes my tip better. It increases the check. So that's the truth too. But also so that they're getting value from it. So it's not just about that. So, people talked about, I listened to one guest talk about the Frizz Free thing. And it was such a big deal to her, to get this oil reflections. Like it was something she never splurged on, but she got it for that day. And then the stylist was talking to her about, we have this referral program too, and if you send somebody, you'll get 25 and they'll get 25. I said, this is great. I'm gonna go tell her right now, my friend, right now about what happened to my hair, about this new, because she just loved the way her hair felt. But it just gets people talking. It engages them in a different conversation other than the same old conversation. So it's going to take something different. It's going to take a new way. I had the conversation a couple days ago, and it landed like, yeah, this is a good campaign, but this isn't just a campaign. This is more about shifting the way that we operate. And taking into account, what do we need to adjust? We need to figure out a way to get tickets. Hey, that's going to make the experience better. We need to have price menus. We need to get that done. We need to change. We need to make the names more realistic in the system, so that it's half head and not whatever the hell it was before. Refresh.
I've done how many refreshes, full head, because I just thought they're getting the same thing. I thought refresh meant they're getting the same thing as last time, and then they leave and they pay for a half a head and they got a full head.
Yeah, look at that.
Because they book it themselves.
Right.
They book a full refresh, because they're just thinking they're getting, and I was like, she
Yeah.
didn't get a half head, she got a full.
Yeah.
All the names are.
95 foils. Yeah.
Right.
So that's all done now.
You should see. Yeah, you should see that. Yeah. And anything that's not, bring it up. Anything that's not clear, then real easy to see.
Well, you only notice it when you spend and you've got, 7,000 foils in their
Yeah.
head and they pay for half of it. You're like, what?
Yeah.
But I didn't know it,
Yeah. Well, that was like that for a lot. So.
But you
these
guys
things
were
come
good
up.
about asking, was it a full or a half?
Right.
Well, I thought it was what was on there, but.
Right.
Well, now it even makes it easier for them because it's clear on there. It says half. It says full. It says whatever it is. So, the difference. So, next week we will dive more into what those are. But today I would like for you to come up with what your favorite of the upgrades is. One that you is natural for you. One that you like to talk about, one that makes a difference for people. And you might have a few, but we do want to get down to like what we don't want the menu to be, like a Cheesecake Factory menu. The Cheesecake Factory menu, have you ever seen that thing? Like, how do you decide what the hell you want at that place? Yeah, just to keep it a little bit more scaled back so it's crazy, right? Yeah. So, so we want to get what your favorites are. So that's something we'll do today. That so we know what's also natural for you. Do you have a favorite there?
My favorite at Cheesecake?
Yeah. Is it?
A couple. I usually don't look at the menu. Chicken salad and salad. And then the other one is like chicken and mashed potatoes
Think of the thing,
with the lemon,
Cheesecake Factory menu
lettuce
and
wraps.
cruise ship food, there's a lot of food, so some of it must be good.
Yeah, some of it, yeah,
Some of
They
it
have
must be good.
decent food,
yeah.
but it's too big, it's overwhelming, everything. Yeah. The skinny menu, the this menu, the that menu, I'm like,
Yeah, it's overwhelming, yeah,
it is.
too much.
So you have to know what you want and just
Yeah,
go in there and order. That's what you're saying.
cheesecake's good? Yeah, oh, okay, yeah. So I need you to come up with that, we'll do that this morning before we end, because I want you to pick your baby, your favorite out of that, the ones that work for you. In the last week, let's see how many we do. Since we had our last meeting, I think there were 20, saw 200 guests. And I think we did probably 20 of them here, 20 of the upgrade, off the upgrade menu. 200 guests since October 2nd. The village had about 185 guests. They did about 30 of those. So that's total service, that's all of them. That's the eye patches, that's everything that is on the menu right now, or is on the proposed menu. And the Promenade did about 53 out of 185, I think. So some of them were gifts, and just testing them out, which is fine to do between now and when we do this. If you want to, we have those gloves. We have other things that. Right. What else, Marina, is on there? The eye, some of the eye patches right now.
The eye patches, yes. The gloves. Well, now we added the lip thing. We haven't tried them yet, but from what I understand, they're like the pink thing. That should be coming in
What's
a
the
couple of
lip
weeks.
thing? Did you ask what the lip thing was?
They're little lip masks that you put on.
Collagen
So
lip
it's
mask?
collagen and peptides. So it's the same as like they do for the eyes, but this is like a cute little lip thing. And actually, I'll show you a picture of their VP. And she,
We don't have those in-house yet, the actual ones, right?
We don't
The
have
professional ones. We have a version of them, which you can give away as gifts right now. But
well,
we're
not for
getting,
lips, we don't.
but for
The
eyes.
lips we only have for the eyes, yes.
Yeah.
And those are the ones that, yes, go ahead and gift them. You don't have to charge for them. Go ahead and gift them and let them know we have more professional ones coming. That those will not be gifted, those will be sold. But, give these, like at the Promenade, I think pretty much every client gets them.
Yeah, they're all walking around with these
Yeah,
patches on their
they
eye
all love
now.
it. The associates wear them, so then all the clients go, "What's that?" And they go, "Oh, it's this," and they go, "Oh, I want some," So they, like at the Promenade, they've been loving them, and the gloves they've been loving too. It's just for while they're being shampooed, you can keep them on while you're cutting, but like Brenda said, if they're wearing makeup or if it's especially at the end of the day and they're oily, they'll slide, right? They won't stay on there. You just put it on while they're at their shampoo bowl and then you can take them off. But they like.
It's for wrinkle or it's for eye
Just
bag?
like collagen. Say it's the right.
Well, okay, but listen, Brenda, in every other salon, everybody's loving them. So, don't just poo-poo it, try it, offer it to the client.
And that might not be yours. I mean, find something that you like.
Well,
or
they
that
just
you
come out torn, or they slide down, or they're
Yeah.
hard to
Well,
put.
I
Like,
will
it's
say
just-
this.
It's been very odd, like.
One of my keys to understanding this industry was when I worked for Burdines, if anybody remembers.
Oh my
Burdines.
gosh, Burdines, yeah.
And
Moss Brothers.
I worked, my last positions there down here was in men's fragrances. So I was in the middle of women's cosmetics. And it blew my mind what women pay for cosmetics. And I was like, now I understand the beauty industry.
Mm.
And one of the things, who was it that sold it? Lancome, or I forget, but it was basically hemorrhoid cream in a jar. And my God, did that stuff work. It really did. I loved it.
So maybe now you should say.
Oh yeah, because I would come in all hungover and the women would be like, we need to refresh you. And they would put that stuff on me and I was like, wow. And then I would see like, wow, this stuff is amazing.
Yeah.
And I was amazed at what women would spend
We got addicted.
on beauty. And it was like, this is amazing. I'm like, this is so different than selling anything else because it is hope in a jar, and that is what we sell essentially.
Right.
You know, none of this is, nothing that we do is necessary. Nothing that
So
we
true.
do.
It really doesn't
This
work,
is
but yet
all
we
So
still
true.
to
try.
make you feel better.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
nothing, that's why I constantly say to clients, I am a cosmetologist. I have nothing to do underneath your skin. I'm here to make you feel better, you know, and that's the truth of our
It's a beautiful way to
industry.
put it. It's so true. It really is. And it's the experiential
Yeah.
side of it, and
Yeah.
that's what we're having happen.
And a good
So-
haircut, sorry.
Well, that's part of making them feel better.
Let's not forget the most important.
No, that's the foundation of what the
Yeah.
beauty comes
Yes,
from.
no,
100%.
No, we're ultimately tradespeople,
Yeah.
but it's about the experience.
Experience,
Yeah.
yeah.
It's about the
Yeah.
whole experience, from the desk to the shampoo to us to like, and I fall down on that all the time. And it's like, and it's just a reminder of why I got in this business in the first place, is because I like hanging around women and I like making women feel better.
Yeah.
Because it
Yeah.
makes me feel good.
Yeah.
You know, that's
Yeah.
ultimately what it's about.
Well, very well said. That's so
You know?
true. Yeah.
I lost that for years, and it's like, and it's nice to be back to where I remember why I'm here and what I'm doing. You know,
Yeah.
Because it is, you know, the haircut, the technique is, you gotta have that foundation. But one of the things that Robert used to always say to me, he's like, first you work on your craft. Once you get that in, then everything else, the money falls in place, the experience falls in place, but you gotta have your craft. And I've applied that whole way of thinking to so much of what I've done through my entire adult life, that if I just work on that, then everything else falls into
Yeah.
place. And it's
Yeah.
a good way to live your life.
Yeah, that's exactly what we're out to do, is upgrade the experience, to give them a little bit more, to add more value to their experience. And for some, what are you guys looking at there?
The lip mask.
Oh, yeah,
Wax lips.
yeah. That's why she picked that for certain guests.
For certain guests.
This is a gift for you today, right?
Yes.
I like that people would love it. Sorry, you're not used to it.
And sometimes you will love it. For a certain
Yeah,
client. Here, put this on, honey.
Do you have some of those today? It's the other brand of the lip
No, we
ones?
don't have that.
No
I
brand
haven't been
of, that
able to
wasn't,
find it.
Michelle didn't give me some of those to give to you? The lip ones from another company?
You gave me one.
That was lip,
That was a lip one.
like that, but it was a different
Michelle
company.
gave,
Okay, yeah.
That
I
was
like your case, Maria. Look at
So you're going to be just finding what ones work for you and that is natural for you. Because, you know, the frizz-free thing, out of those 500, you know, maybe 150, 75 or whatever was a new experience for them. It was something they got excited about. We could find what those little niches are for the different people. And some, it might just be, hey, you know, that felt really good on my face. If you haven't tried one, try one out. Especially when we get the new ones in, try it out. You know, you want to know from experience what it's like too. When we get the lip ones in, when we get the other ones in, try those out.
Now for the sunflower, has anyone used the sunflower treatment?
One of the other upgrades is called sunflower. It's a little jar.
Yes, it's a
jar.
color lock treatment, but it's the sunflower jars. Have you guys used that treatment yet?
No, I saw it, but I didn't
You should
know.
test it.
So it's, well, Brenda can probably explain better. Brenda?
Is that in the back bar? Or no?
It's not on back bar, no.
I don't know where.
We have them at the front, and it's a 1 ounce container, and that's the treatment. You use it instead of conditioner, and it's a color lock treatment. It's sunflower, it has sunflower stuff in it that's supposed to, and I used it, and it's helped my red stay red. And I used it twice now, and it's keeping my red in, and you know how fast my red fades out. But it's really helped me. So it's a $15 add-on, and those we will keep at the front. It's not a back bar, I don't want everybody just using them. That is like, if you want to use it for your client, your associate can come up and get one.
It's an empty. It's one bottle. It's used the whole thing on the guest, so it's on one of
Low
them.
enough that it kind of brings everything back down and locks
Okay.
it.
Oh, that's
But not that I have checked the pH to know for sure, but that's what it's saying
okay.
when you read this.
And it's easy to use because it's one little 1 ounce thing. You just use it all.
And it's nice
for
and
the
soft,
client.
and there's some good conditioner.
Yes. And again, it's not any extra time because you're literally doing it instead of the conditioner. You don't have to leave it on, you don't have to do any of that. You just put it on, do your massage, wash it out, done.
It doesn't stay on.
Can you give everybody one
No,
of
it
those?
doesn't need to stay on, no.
Well, it should stay on for about 5 minutes.
Well, for 5 minutes while you're massaging, same as,
Yeah,
you
perfect.
know,
And then you rinse it?
and then you rinse it, yeah, it's okay. But I think for, I mean, honestly, for every brunette and redhead, I think it's a no-brainer. It's not for the blondes, but it will be for the redheads and the brunettes for sure.
I just want to get this piece clear. So these are different ways to say, because next week you might have questions about, well, what's going on with the color? I got an email, because we're going to send out an email to everybody, all the guests, that says what we're doing, and the new measuring system, which some guests already know about, because you probably even talked about it to some of them as it is. Would somebody read just that first paragraph there? First grade again. Allie did it.
I had to do that, village, guys.
Is there an increase in price or is the adjustment the increase?
So two things. So there's a base increase in the color services. There will be a base increase. And if there's more color used, there will be more color charged.
I have a question about, and I don't want to co-opt this, but on the Vish system, I'm confused if, when I go back and say, okay, I'm going to mix from history, and then I'm like, all right, I'm assuming this is adjusting.
It doesn't work.
Okay, that's my big
You cannot
question.
rely on the history. It does
Okay.
not calculate the developers versus color correctly. It messes up your, like, if you use equal parts, it's had me do like more of this one and less of, I'm like, how did you get, it does not. So you can't just mix from history. You have to redo it every time.
I had one too that I like, after I mixed her
More
color,
than one.
it was like all developer, like I was looking at it and I was like
Yeah,
mixing
it
and
just
like,
changes, it does
and
its
then
own
so then I went
mind.
back to look at the history and it's like
Not reliable.
Mackenzie's
Well,
clients too,
because
and
the reason why I
it
asked is
started
because,
with her, and then each time I did it was more and more developer, I just kept going from
It was
history.
changing.
And then I started thinking, and I was like, well, you know how sometimes at the very end, you're like putting in your developer, and it goes a little bit over, just a tiny bit. Well, each time, I think Vish is saying, oh, she needs a little
Add
bit
that
more
more.
developer. So that every single time I'm doing it, and then it just keeps adding more, because you know, we're not stopping exactly on that ounce.
But
you
I
know?
don't think a tenth or something is going to add up to a half an ounce or,
Yeah.
like, it's,
Yeah, it's just.
Well, you helped me, Brenda. She said, because I use the
You
measuring
just have to
on the,
know,
I
and-
use the measuring on the slots. There's a measuring on each
you
tube
just
that
don't
says
pay
quarter
attention
ounce,
to what it
half
says
ounce,
to
double.
use.
She
Go
told
back
me
to your
don't pay
formula.
attention
You don't have
and
to,
do what I always do, because
Yeah.
I'm like,
It's
it's
not.
telling me to use more color, because there's not 2 ounces of color in that tube.
Yeah.
Okay, number one, the tubes do not have the full
2
amount.
ounces.
You're right
okay?
about
They
that.
never
So
have,
if you're
yeah.
gonna do
Yeah.
1 ounce, you go
But
down
they
to
do
this
that.
much left.
Yeah,
And I never use
that's
that
a
much.
very good point. So.
I never use that much ever.
yeah, they do that.
So I
first.
turn it down to the slot on the key, and she told me just keep using my markers, and it'll say whatever it says. So now my bowl is always empty, like it always is,
Yeah.
right? So I don't have to worry about going over, but when I try to use the machine and do an ounce or a half an ounce, it's 3/4 of the tube. And I'm like, this is too much color, Brenda. She goes, don't pay attention to that. Do what you always do. So I just grab it off and I use the markers, because there's a marker on each
Yeah,
tube
each
what
tube.
to use. And that's all, you know, I'm 42 years of doing it, so I do the tube. The machine and electronics in general drive me crazy.
So many people do.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Don't try
So
to-
she said, don't pay attention
I have
to
to
the
reload it
numbers,
every single time.
just do what you do. And
Because
it's,
it's like
it is close.
When you mix color, it's like an instant.
And I can't have anybody else.
You know your.
And then when I go to developer, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, I've got 2 ounces. But I don't know what that thing says, but she told me keep doing what I normally do and quit getting stressed out over the numbers. And it's right, but the time
We have
you're
to fight the
saying
machine.
something
I know
correct.
you
We have to fight the
You
machine.
do. You
I
can't listen
did
to it.
the developer by just filling up the little eyedropper, and my color was too thin.
Then, yeah.
And so I knew it wasn't gonna cover the gray, because it was
Yeah.
gonna be more developer than color. But I wasn't gonna go add more color to make
So
it
now I have
fit.
it in my head, like, so the next time.
Just do what you
Yeah,
do,
yeah, for me.
and let the machine measure whatever it measures. I mean, it'll keep a history of what you
Yeah, of what
measure,
you use.
Still goes in.
but you're gonna use less color not
See,
using
when you
that.
put your regular
Yeah.
formula in somewhere, so you
Correct.
know what you're doing.
Yeah.
If those were full 2 ounces, it would be right, but it's not. So we've always used less if you use the markers. Some people didn't even, I might have been Jennifer, she's like, I didn't even know there was
Have you-
markers on the sides of the two.
Have you asked them about that?
No.
Will you?
Just- Yeah.
Yeah, will you
Yeah. I
investigate
mean, I
that?
think that's why, what it is though, is just because we're not always the same exact way every time, so then every time it's saying, oh, she needed this
Well, just
percentage
get
more
clarity
developed.
about it. Is it designed to do that? Or is it designed to do, not mix it the way that it's supposed to be? So
It's not
find out.
consistent.
Yeah, because it's
You're
important
not
if they
crazy.
do go to another place, then they're not looking
You're
at
not
that last
crazy.
formula if it's wrong.
But it will record what I used. I mean, it did record the weight.
What you actually use, right, which is what we're talking about right now,
It
right?
recorded what I
Right,
used
right.
for someone else's.
Now, if
business.
you don't use that over the course of the next week, like it's down or somebody's using it and you got to mix another way, which has happened, or it's broken or whatever. We've had breakdowns like that, haven't you? Like where you couldn't do it in the machine. Make sure you just know the total amount of color used so we can check that up front. So it will be a manual calculation of what was actually
I
used.
think you can go back and put it in.
I think that's what happens.
I think
Don't you guys do that?
water,
They
yeah.
put water in so that it goes in the system with
You
what?
can go back and do it, because someone helped me go back and measure. what
That's
it
great.
was.
That's great. If that's being done,
Yeah, I've done
that's
that.
excellent.
I've had to do
Yeah.
that too.
I think it might have been you helped me. Wasn't it? You just
Yeah, that's
said
awesome. That's great. It still goes in the system and it's still measured out, and then we know. So, do you want to read that first paragraph? Just so, because they're going to get this. They're going to have this. You're going to be able to have to talk about it, and you find your own words for it.
Hey, just so you know, we've updated how we measure color, so every guest gets exactly what they need. No waste, no guesswork. It's based on your hair's length and thickness, and if we ever need extra color, I'll let you know before we add it.
Okay, I'm not going to read all these, but they're your tool for that. Pick one that's for you. Pick one that, you could just say it naturally or however, you've probably already been saying it, but just so that it's, something that you're prepared for. Because there's going to be some, and you'll see some this week, some for last week that, there's going to be a little bit more. And you know that in advance, so you want to let them know about it so that it's not a surprise for them. So to answer your question, yes, price. The prices are going to be adjusted, the base price is going to be adjusted, and then if they need more color, they'll be charged more
So
color.
like all of our guests we'll know if we're over 2 ounces, like if you know your guests that you're like, no, I use 3 ounces on her, so I guess we just have to tell them right away, like, oh, we're using a new system. And your hair color takes 3 ounces.
Well, yeah, because by the time they come up front,
Yeah.
at that point, like, they'll be pissed because they're gonna think we're trying to, up something or whatever. So if you do know that you normally use more color, that is something to be, to tell your client as you're doing it, just to let you know.
Well,
the
They
changers-
they might know, they might need to know before.
They need to know.
I
before.
think so.
Well, yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, yeah,
Absolutely, that's it.
Right.
You
And
say,
listen,
oh, I
we
need-
are
I don't
gonna-
do color, but the client.
Yes,
is
there
good.
will be an email that's going to go out explaining this to them, but of course, we don't have everybody's email.
And they don't all read it.
People don't, and they
People don't read it.
I mean, when you put it, so you are saying that there's gonna be an increase in the email, I maybe would just not put a percentage or something of that, because then maybe we.
No, it won't say that.
No, it won't say
It's
that
gonna say
with that.
end up, you're right, yeah.
For
It'll
our
just
guests that use more
explain.
color, I'll just group it with that email, kind of,
Yeah.
Well, we sent an email saying that there was good, because the only people that are gonna have issues is our clients that, are returning.
Regular.
New people, yeah, new people.
Yeah,
will-
regular.
Right,
Right,
they're
no,
returning.
But I think for returning guests, I'll just say like, well, they did send an email saying there was gonna be an increase. Yeah.
And
Hey.
they did increase it, but what's the extra for? That's the only thing that I. can
Well,
see
that's what I'm
saying.
saying, kind of group it with that, but don't even say anything about the extra color,
We had some guests
I
that
don't
were getting a
think you
root
draw
retouch.
attention to it. If you're saying there's a price increase, I don't even know if you need to.
Right,
draw
you just
attention to it.
kind of like, at the end.
We can have a little printout with us so that we know like what was used on each one, so we can sit with them beforehand and be like, I used 2.5 ounces on you, so. If we do
And
your
I
highlights,
think-
I don't know.
I think it's-
I don't think
I think it's
should
too much
be-
information.
I don't think you should go into the ounces.
Okay, maybe that's a good, Paula, maybe that's a good point.
They come to relax,
Okay,
they
that's
don't
not
care,
what
they
you're
already
asking us
know
to
it's
do.
expensive, they
Yeah.
already know.
Oh, because at the very
No.
end, you could just be like,
No,
they could
because
be like, well, we did.
We don't know anything about that. Ounces make no sense.
Yeah.
Like, that's what
Because
you're
then you
asking
have
us
to
to
be
do.
like,
No,
we're
no,
having
what we're
questions,
saying is,
and.
Yeah.
this is your
No, I love that. I love that.
They're grumpy and then they just
Paula, that's a really good point. I'm glad I didn't send it yet. I liked what you said. So we'll just talk about the increase and not get into the whole Vish and the measuring and all that. Yeah,
No, they.
really good, really, really good. Yeah, that's great. You guys, I love that.
So the only thing, but on their bill, if we do more, it will say extra.
Well, they're going to say that day beforehand, so yeah, we'll
But
say
that'll
that.
be included in that, so then if they say
That's part of
something
the
about
price
that, you
increase.
say, well, yes, part of the price increase was that we are now measuring our color, and
Yes.
you have more hair than the average person, and.
So you need to lose your hair.
So we're gonna have you lose your hair.
Stop taking neutral.
I think this makes absolute sense. I mean, that's my thing with with young women that want to have hair down to their waist.
Yeah.
I think that it's going to cost the same amount as
Yeah,
hair.
yeah, 100%, yeah,
I
transparent.
hated, you know, I used to love to look over somebody's, you know, shoulder when they were reading Cosmopolitan, because I wanted to see what those little boxes were telling them about our industry.
Yeah.
And man, where is those little boxes saying, you want to have extensions, hair down to your ass, and not understand that it's going to take the person an hour and a half to 2 hours to do it.
Yeah.
You got to pay for it.
Or six.
Nobody's
Yeah.
telling
Or 6.
them that.
Yeah.
And they just come in and think, oh, my haircut should cost the same as Brenda's or yours, and it's like, that's nonsense.
Yeah.
I think that's one of the problems with why they all have so much fucking hair, is because they're not really paying for it,
Yeah.
Yeah,
is the truth.
yeah, no,
You
I know, yeah.
It is.
It's under,
We just
right.
had that the other day where the lady, you know, the stylist told her, you know, it takes me longer, and
It
she
takes
was
a
like,
lot
I don't have a lot
longer.
of hair.
And then they want you to curl it and
Or
think
Yeah.
say
that
it's
should
not
be
long,
included.
it's not thick, but it is, it's taking me longer. Like, you can decide whatever you want to decide,
Right. But if it's taken.
but if it's thick and long, I'm sorry, I have to take.
How much is the increase?
It's all about
It depends
you
on the service, it depends on which service it is.
So
About,
it's
it's $8 for a
basic.
retouch, $8 for all
$8.
retouches, right? Also, the bottom level, that bronze level's going all the way up. There's too much of a gap between bronze. You're mixing, you might create a formula and a bronze person goes and does it for half price. That's ridiculous.
So I was
So,
thinking about the highlights again, I know I already mentioned it once, but, or you can finish, we can talk about
okay,
it. If you- sorry.
okay. Yeah, thanks, but just stick with me on that. Yeah, I'm glad that came out. I'm glad that came out because we don't have that complete yet to send out in the newsletter. Keep it simple because overcomplicating it, then they're going to be asking all these questions like, well, what's Vish? You know, I'm not going to, I won't even say the term
What if
Vish.
they're combative and be like, well, just don't make more than what's wrong?
I'll say, okay, I'm gonna miss this panel back here.
Right, right, then I can't hire you.
That's what
They're
I'm
going to
saying,
come and
you
say,
know.
don't do
I
my
have
hair.
one more thing to say, like, about this too, is don't decide what your guests can afford. That
Yeah,
is
you
such a
can't-
key
can't get into that
concept, and
game.
I forget it all the time.
I know, but
That we want to make decisions about how they want to spend their money, and they make their own decisions about what they're going to spend their money on.
That's so
And
true.
it's like,
Yeah.
and I have clients that, no, this is a huge splurge for them, but it's worth it for them.
Well,
They
start spreading
plan
it
their,
out.
they don't come in,
Right.
It's often.
you know, they decide how much they want to, you know,
Yeah.
they already know that they're
Yeah.
coming in for a good
Right.
experience in
Yeah.
a nice place and like in a beautiful
As long as they're
setting.
not
Yeah.
blindsided,
Yeah.
Right.
Yes, listen,
Right.
I have
Yeah.
not been charging you what I should have been charging you all these years,
Yeah.
actually. I do have to mix a little more, so it'll be a little bit of an upcharge.
Being totally transparent about it. Listen,
Yeah.
we absorbed those increases and it hurts right now. It hurts. It
Well,
really
it went
hurts.
from $5 a tube to $15 a tube.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
I get it for my clients from Cincinnati that fly down, and I'm like, freaking A.
yeah.
You
It's
know,
insane.
I come in here and it's, you know, and they don't pay what they pay here.
Right.
And so, you know, they give me a couple $100, if I went to beauty supply and spent $120.
Yeah, listen, we've
You
had
know, it's
some,
just, it's not,
so
it's
true.
not fun, and plus I picked them up at the airport, plus I cooked them dinner,
Yeah.
plus I.
Oh my God,
You know, we're just
it's like a
about-
DND, you're running a DND. I'm coming to your house.
I need my highlights done.
I need a deal. I need a free meal.
One of my clients that owns 3 car dealerships, she said, we should call you the Airbnb. You know, but it's
Airbnb.
just a few people that I do, but I'm just saying, the prices have went up 3 times the amount.
Yeah. Yeah, listen, I could see it. I mean, we've had some guests who get a $120 service and use $65 a color.
That's
That we're not charging for.
ridiculous. Plus you gotta
65
pay the person
Right.
for working.
See, it's more than half in just the product. And suppose, used to be 6% of the service. The
Yeah.
color, that was the standard, to have your product usage be 6%, would be $6. And now it's 25 on a $100 service. And that's for most, but there's some that are a lot more. So I'm glad we had this discussion, because I'll make that change. That's really good.
I think that
Really
you
good.
shouldn't give them that much.
Yeah, I think that's great. It's
Say
less to fight with,
It's an
and
increase.
you brought that up too.
You don't wanna do that. Like, I wouldn't understand. That's like when Paula tells me about my color. She's like, come on, it's 843, and I have no idea what she's saying. I mean, I understand she gets excited about it, but I don't know what that means. So clients don't know. You don't need to do any of that.
Yeah, this is
You just say, I have
100%
to
transparency for
Take
a premium experience. They got to pay for a premium experience. It's the cost of life. Everybody's aware of costs of everything going up.
I mean, simple would be, color has increased 3 times the amount.
In a short period of time.
Short amount.
It's
They don't
a,
even really need to know that, that's not their problem.
you're right. It's not.
It's not their problem. They don't
I
need to
agree
know
with
that.
you there.
That's just not something
No,
they need to
no, no,
worry
no.
about.
Just like us worrying about whether they have the money or
Someone
not.
said
That's not
that
our
to me,
problem.
I'd be like,
You know, it shouldn't be. We should stay out of their wallet.
You know,
Let them deal with it. Yeah, yeah. Right here. Right. I say 100%.
Yeah.
So again, in summary, right now, offering. So these are all offerings, okay? So what my request is that the offerings be there, so that the offerings in every area, so if everybody is making these offerings, whether it's from the upgrade service to when I need to see you again, to this is what we used and why we used it. By even simply this simple thing, even if it's just the fact that it went to the front and it got put in the system. They may not want the offering of the retail product, but it goes in the computer that we now know. Hey, we'll follow up when we have a deal. We'll send them an email that says, hey, we have that product that's been being used on you for this amount. But those offerings, and we'll tie this together next week because we're going to talk more about it, about what those metrics are in each day, so that we're looking at 33% of our gas that we find something in your wheelhouse that you love that you can offer to people. It used to be chem shots for you. Those chem shots were the thing, man. Everybody had to have a chem shot. Whatever your chem shot is, whatever that is. We have to keep exploring. You had your hand up. You changed your mind? Oh, maybe you're stretching. Oh, okay.
But also, like, even with the little eye patches, you can just have them at your station, and offer them like that too. Just have them have two out. And again, you can gift them right now.
Now the other ones, the hydro ones with the collagen, they don't slide down, they stay in place.
Well,
They like.
listen, everything slides down. Have you ever done eye patches in general?
Yeah, but I'm always laying down, I'm not
Well,
sitting
right,
up or
so that's what
doing
I'm saying, but
anything.
that's what I'm saying.
I'm-
Sitting up,
I'm-
everything will fall
I
down.
get in my
of course.
chair and I lay back and I'm
Correct.
like 10 minutes like this, I'm
Yeah,
not
yeah, yeah.
trying to do
Correct,
it
so
while
that's,
I'm-
right.
And maybe
So
that's where they
it's
do it,
not
just at the
on.
bowl.
Exactly.
Yeah.
They're not meant to be worn for 3 hours while they're getting their color.
Okay.
And again, if they're sweaty, it'll
New
slide
ones.
down faster.
I don't.
Do them in the bowl. When they
What's
slide down, offer to do it as they're getting their shampoo. That's the best time to offer to do it.
So will you try them out today for you guys? Like you use them on yourself? Try them out. Try them out. And if you could, if you would make a commitment to have, and if you gift them between now and then too, find some of the upgrades that you're going to gift. Yeah, and gift them. You can gift them right now. Just say, hey, we're experimenting with this. I want to see I have this new great thing. I
I
want
need to
to.
figure out something with the hand thing too, because I tried experimenting with those and they're
Is it
just
paraffin?
weird.
Is it paraffin?
No, it's a lotion. Like, my fingers came out the other side when I slipped it on. My guest had happened to too. Like, and then it's just very messy.
I think the
It's-
assistants have to put it on.
I
and
got-
take it off.
I just
If
need
not,
some
they'll
help
lift it
figuring
within
that
the
out.
process of it.
Yeah, well, play with it. Try it today. Play with it. Try them on you, on each other. But please use them. Rule them out or rule them in or find what you like. That's the main thing. But just start that process because we have to engage in that right now. It can't be like, when season comes. It's actually right now while we're not busy. Today's a great day to do that. Not a lot happening today. So, that would be my request. Yeah.
I think too, one of the new ones come down, I think it's gonna be, I'll feel more confident.
Full professional. I mean, this line, they sell it at Nordstrom. That brand is at Nordstrom. So that's a really nice brand, and it's an elevated brand. They can get it at Nordstrom, but they can get it here too. The new one we're getting.
That's one
Yeah,
thing I noticed too, the clients definitely wanted to know what we were using, some of them took pictures of what it was, they
Yeah.
want to know what's in it,
Yeah,
so.
yeah.
Yeah, this is real-
Able to get away with
very
the-
good. This is real good. So you'll be able to have all that information too. Polypeptides, collagen, all of what it's good for. We'll get that.
I'll a little more
Yeah, and they should, that's good. Then you talk about it, educate
Because you
it,
just-
David.
But I think for now, we can just.
If a client is getting multiple color service, is it 2 ounces of color, 2 ounces developer per the client or per the service they're getting? So if
Are you
they're
talking about
getting
dimensional?
Touch
Are you talking about
and highlights, it's 4 ounces, 4 ounces? Or are they getting charged for the highlights extra?
So good question. So highlights have an allowance for bleach. Okay, so if you use color, there's definitely going to be more because it only has an allowance for bleach. Bleach is a lot less than color. So if
So
you,
anyone who does low lights. or
Correct.
colors with-
correct.
So that's what I.
You ran into the other day, right?
So that's what I was gonna bring up was because.
But you use less bleach.
Right, and our.
Like
so
I was
was
one
thinking
Well,
high, one low, one high, one low.
So
but I
bleach
use
is-
less bleach.
Yeah,
Bleach
except
is
you're
probably-
touching up bleach like this, and a low light, you're taking all the way
All
through.
I don't take it to the ends.
Well, not
Mostly,
always, but like I
Because
have a
it makes it
client
too
that's
dark.
100% gray, I only use KP on her. So she was $20 over that day, remember?
Mhm.
But that's my thing though, is because the highlights are already more expensive than, because I didn't use more than I would use on a root retouch, you know?
Well, that's what I'm saying, is it 2 ounces per service or is it 2 ounces per
Per-
client?
So it's,
It's per
it's,
service.
no, that's if it's a root. So
Depending on
if
what
it's
it
if
is.
it's a highlight and you're using low lights, there's only an allowance for whatever the bleach is, which is like $5. Okay, if you use 2 ounces of color, it's $25. So there's a difference there, depending on how much
Yeah.
color is used.
So highlights are gonna be less expensive than a root retouch now.
No, the amount of color, the amount of allowance for product usage for highlights is whatever bleach is. The 2 ounce or
I'm just saying,
whatever
if
number
they
of bleach
come in
is.
For a root retouch, a full head of highlights.
Oh, those are charged, those are
is the bleach
separate.
bowl an addition or is it
No,
the
no.
bleach bowl have an allowance?
It has an
It has
allowance.
its own
Correct, yeah.
So
You're right.
that
You're weighing under the
one other
foils and
foil.
you're weighing under your.
That's important, right? Because it's going to look like you're using more. So yes, to answer the question, you're right on point.
Because there's a bigger allotment.
To piggyback off that, if a client changes the service doesn't update on Vish right away. Sometimes it takes like
Oh, yeah.
a long time to update. So last week I had trouble with that where I ended up doing a dimensional, but everything was under the root retouch because
So-
it didn't update.
And that's
I didn't have
actually
time to
one
like
thing
wait.
too, because there is, so when it doesn't update like that, I'd be like, okay, no, I'm not doing a root anymore, I'm doing a dimensional, and then I go and weigh everything under that dimensional, then all of a sudden, later on it'll update and I'll be like, oh, there's the dimensional that I was supposed to, so I wonder if it translates onto the front desk.
So
You know what I
check that, see if it does, see which one.
Yeah.
It should only give you the completed one, the one you completed.
Completed.
It might show up there,
Yeah.
but if you didn't complete it, it's not going to show
I
you
just don't
anything.
want them to get charged for my mistake. if
Well,
it's, like,
so
additional.
for that
Right.
too, if you guys know you made a mistake, just come tell us at the front desk so that we can then look, you know, and let us know, I weighed it all under one. Because there is a way of going back and switching it out, right, Ally?
Just because it
Would be
update
like
real
an
time.
No,
add-a-bowl.
I don't think-
No,
no,
it would be
you
under,
can't-
because
you
you
can't remove the whole-
did
you can't.
add-a-bowl to me.
Yeah.
No, you have to add a service.
I see.
Under it and then do it.
Yeah, there's no way like.
I get it.
I'm just.
But if you didn't complete it, it's not going to show up as a charge. Because she only gets completed, like it'll say completed, on the Vish front desk module, or whatever it's called, the front desk checkout. That's the only thing that's going to give you data. Because there's a lot of services that are left in there that are undone. Like sometimes it'll even show up for a men's haircut back here.
Right.
Yeah,
Blow
all
dries,
the
haircuts,
haircuts,
Right.
blow
blow
dries.
dries.
Yeah. So, and if they're not completed or nothing's done with them, it doesn't tell them to do anything up front. So if there's a mistake and you mix under the wrong one, then you got to let them know. Because then you just give them the ounces and they can calculate the difference.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay, and you got Allie here today, so Allie here today and tomorrow, so she's the link. So if you would get with them on, at least getting clarity about, is it always going to be like that, or whatever those things are, that thing Brenda was talking about too?
I don't know what they're gonna say about the whole, I feel like they're just gonna be like, well, you guys did something wrong for the
Okay,
whole.
well,
thing.
if that's what it is.
The opposite happens to me. The bowl gets smaller
Smaller.
every time.
All right, thank you, everybody.